I think if we look at some of the challenges, always we see that the sector of reaching bilateral with other countries, some you will find easy. They look at the model and what we have achieved and they want to follow. And maybe some country they see it is challenging them because it would replace that other will take their place. I think we have really to see that the model of open sky policy was really the plus. But you are also on the other side, when you talk to any country, I think they should really see this model is really working because we are a small population base today. I mean, if we talk about the UAE or Dubai, and when we see an airport like in Dubai with a population, let's say, of 6 million or 8 million or 10 million, and we really see 90 million passengers come to this airport, you know, that it should really make us think why we shouldn't be like them. And where there are countries with much bigger population, but we see the number that their airports can handle is much smaller. Of course, that is not easy and simple because also you have really to invest in the infrastructure and the people also. I think one element that we should not really forget always is what our cost base. Cost is a very important, regardless of what you're doing and how successful you are. You have always to look at your cost because there is always somebody else who will come and will try to give that service as good as what you are doing for much less cost, and those airlines who will be the successful. What we see the industry is facing today, even we see fuel prices always a big factor in the aviation industry. And also you think about currency. Currency also is a major factor in the profitability of the airlines, so fuel and currency. I think the political situation is not only around us, globally. We'd see if people talk about what kind of problem in the geopolitical, what route you see that today is going or doing so well. Maybe next day you will not see that route because something happened within that country and you have to stop it, you know. So you always have really to diversify your business. I mean, diversification, not necessarily that you jump into different type of business. I think the focus on the business that you know better is the best thing, but only you shouldn't be only starting flight to one continent. Still, runway will be the runway, or we will see maybe another model which we're talking about. Yes, it could be the Hyperloop airplane that going out of this space to reach another point with much less time. Even they say it can be at one day flying from Dubai to Australia. Maybe it will take you 5 minutes instead of 14 hours to Sydney. That would happen. Yes, it will happen. I'm sure one day. I don't know, in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, but it will happen. If we look at the model, the plane that they take from London to here maybe almost take you over a day or two to reach here, you know. Now you are within 7 hours, you are between Dubai and London. Okay, the supersonic flight which had been stopped when the Concorde at the time, it was 3.5 hours. And that even at that time could be much less, but it was a restriction flying over land. You know, so I think we have to be really open that this will change in the future. I remember when the 747 came, you know, and they said, they said, people will not need now to come to a technical stop in the Gulf area. And they said everybody will be flying, let's say, from London to Australia without really passing here. But actually we did create a reason for the people. And I think this is the main reason. You have really to make sure that create something that the people want to stop here. And we have always to think what would be the next reason for more people to come here. You have to expand because with the more number of people, you need more facility. But also things are done a bit differently today. It's not only about big space. How would you be able to process people faster? And I think using technology, and I think the model that we use today in the UAE with His Highness leadership, you know, that we're pushing technology, and that technology really will help to process more people, you know, to come through in or out or in transit. And I think that's really the model. So the focus on technology, I think, will be also one of the saving a lot of cost in the future. But I think always we have to think processing people much faster will always be the way. You know, I think with the new aircraft, we see the technology in the new engine. I think burning less fuel, all that has helped. You know, I think when people say, yeah, I think with the new technology, I mean, talking about media, videos that you can, why you go, let's say, to London or to America, you can always set me and you, and talking about things without seeing it's real time. We can talk, but it's different when you sit with somebody, having a coffee, you know, shake hand. It's a different feeling, you know. So we, at the end of the day, we are a human being. We need that touch always, and that element will always be there, regardless of what the technology can do. I think in any sector of the business, you won't be able to do it yourself. You need the help of the others. As long as they are working together, there is no the element of me, I did it. You know, I think things will work. You need everybody to work. You need the security people, you need the customs, you need immigration, you need the tourism boards or ministries also to be there. Even your foreign office, you know, allowing people in to come. And I think this is one of the good reasons that we see more and more people today coming to the UAE. The achievement of bilateral between the UAE and the other countries, you know, by seeing today more than 170 countries that would be allowed to come to the UAE, that's a big push. I mean, in the end of the day, we have our own lab here. We look at our industry, what the others are doing, and we try really to learn from each other. And what will we always thinking that, oh, today we know what we want tomorrow. But I think we will always shortfall. I think tomorrow will be a different day that we will learn that people will need something more and more and more. And it is really happening also in a much faster pace today than ever before. And I think what we'll see in the next 5 years or 10 years, it's beyond our expectations. So we have really to gear it up. That will always be the case. We'll be spending more and more money on research, and also cooperating with others who are in the industry, not necessarily only in the aviation sector. I think when we talk about who we are collaborating with, I mean, if it is university, car manufacturers, schools, I think even we have really to start with the very young ones. You know, I think the Emiratization program is really working well on the ministry side, engaging with every industry in the UAE. I think we have always to do more and more, especially in the education sector, and this is why the government of the UAE really spending more and more money every year, and specifically in the education side. I think our Minister of Youth, she's one of the youngest minister on the world. She's doing really a great job, really bringing all the talents together, working in every sector of the business. I think when we are talking, we're talking about all the industries together. It was really a big achievement, and that was really a success, because what we tried to do here is something that serving over 1.5 billion people. around, so 2 billion people. It's not only about the UAE, but it's good for the Middle East, the Gulf region, the Indian subcontinent, and it would be really the places that will be visited. We should see something like 25 million visitors here, and really bringing all those future brains to the UAE to really exhibit in their own pavilion, share experience with the people of Dubai and with the world in one place. You know, from day one, actually, when we planned to have the Expo, we always thought what will be after the Expo, because the last thing you want to see that you spend all this money, which we did spend a lot of money on the project, on the infrastructure, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed really insisted that after the Expo, what we should be doing about the site. And this is why we have a legacy, that this site will continue after the legacy. We'll see many companies who will really still be there and will use this place. It's next to our big airport that we are building there. It's next to the free zone area, to the big port in Jabal Ali. The city itself is also moving toward the site, and this is why you see the metro is really connected to the site itself. So I think we have a very successful model. After the Expo, people will not really think that, oh, you spend a lot of this money and really it is an empty place they have really to demolish or to be kept locked. And I think it's not far away now when we look at next year, or toward the end of next year, the Expo is over.